Hey guys, I'm back with another one. So, I had a really good conversation over the weekend about identity. All right, and how sometimes, okay, God is working in us in who we think we are, in who we have ourselves wrapped up in. Okay, so sometimes God will prolong certain things like success or your person or just certain things that you are looking for Him to do, right? He will prolong that because He is shaping you and He is building you in your own identity. He is building your character, right? So a lot of times we don't even realize that our personality, right, are the things that we think, like the things that we tell ourselves, oh, this is just who I am, or this is just how I am, right? We think we're like that because of how we were raised, because of our environments, because of the people that we were around, right, coming up. And so we build this identity for our own self, right? But when you start to walk in your purpose and get closer to God, it is time for you to shed that old identity, and it is time for you to take on the identity that Christ is giving you, right? So you might feel like, oh, well, I'm just this type of person, right? I'm just the type of person where, if you do something to me, I got to get you back. I got to do something back to you, right? Or you might be the type of person where you just have a very hard time expressing your emotions or your feelings, right? I know I struggle with that. Or you might be the type of person that your identity is wrapped up in validation, right? So sometimes your identity could be wrapped up in validation, right? Seeking validation from others. And it is very important that you get sturdy in who God is telling you that you are. Because especially when your identity is wrapped up in who the world is telling you you are, right? You can a lot of times get very caught up in the hype or the appearances and always feeling like you have to show up and perform. Okay, that is the one thing that I realized recently is that I don't even have to perform for anybody. If I don't want to do something, I just don't do it, right? Or if I want to say something, I'm going to say it, right? And I don't really fear what somebody's going to think about me anymore like I used to in the past. And it was because my identity was wrapped up in what other people thought about me. Okay, that was my whole personality. What do you think about me? What do this person think about me? How can I control how everyone around me see me, right? But when you start to walk with God and you start to when you start to get on your purpose, you will realize He will start to break down all of those things that you have built yourself up to be. So all of those things that you said, well, if they don't call me, then I'm not going to call them, right? This whole tit for tat thing or this whole petty thing, right? So these rules that you done set up in your brain and said, I live by this or I will die on this hill. Okay, that when you start to walk with God and He's setting you up to be on your purpose, right? He's setting you up for success. It is time to break down those idols, right? Those are idols, right? Because it goes into self worship. It is time to break down this self perception of yourself, who you've been telling yourself this whole time, right? Well, I'm just the petty queen, or I'm just the petty king, right? Or I hold grudges, right? I had a very hard time with holding grudges against people. If you did something to me, I was taking it forever with me. And I realized that wasn't that. You just age yourself and you hold on to wait, like it's just unnecessary. Right? You can just let that stuff go. But for a long time I always tell myself, well, this is just who I am, right? This is just me. But I've realized recently that God is not going to do a working in you the way you would like Him to do if you don't release that old need for the identity. And the ego is the biggest thing. Okay, so I've been hearing a lot of videos about killing that ego, dying to the ego, and it is it's a very pivotal thing, I would say. So you have to let go of all of these things that you have built yourself up to be in your mind and allow God to do a working in you for who He is telling you He says you are. He knows the plans that He has for you, but you have to allow Him to work in your heart, in your life. You have to allow Him to unharden your heart. Okay, so a good prayer to pray when you are praying is say, God, please unharden my heart. If my heart is hardened in any way in my life, right, in any aspect, unharden that. Okay, come into my heart and work with me on that. All right, so your identity, it is a big thing because it is who you are believing you are. It's who you are telling yourself you are. All right, so you're saying, I am this. This is just who I am. This is just how I am. Now, with certain things about ourselves, right, where it's like, okay, yeah, that is just how I am. That is just who I am, right? Like, for instance, I kind of have a little bit of OCD, right? I like things a certain way. That is just who I am, right? I don't really think, I don't think that's going to change about me. But as far as things that, me being like me holding grudges or me having a hard time forgiving, stuff like that are things that, God can do a working in me on. So I say all of this to say that you have to, and another thing I feel like to say, when your identity is wrapped up in the validation from other people, right? The same how they can build it up, they can bring it back down. So that is why God is trying to build your own identity in yourself first. He needs you to be sturdy in your own foundation so that when things are looking shaky on the outside world, when you're not being validated, right? When you're not getting the approval or the congratulations or the, when you're not getting the applause from the people, right? You can still stand sturdy in who you know you are to be. Okay, so because if the validation of man can build you up, it can bring you right back down, and you have to always remember that. So when you're getting applause, when you're getting cheers, when you're getting like the ruah, right, of people saying like go ahead and you're doing a good job, right, that's all good, but you cannot build your character, you cannot build your self-esteem on that, because if you do, the people will turn on you so fast. Okay, the same how you said something they like, you can say something they don't like, and before you know it, you are the worst thing walking. All right, you are the worst person in the world. They hate you, they don't even know why you're still existing. I'm telling you, this is a thing. Okay, I've seen it firsthand where people, they can love you one minute and they can hate you the next. So if your identity is built up in man, your identity can be broken down in man as well. So, and that goes for anything. That goes for just people in general, and that goes also for a relationship. So who are you on the inside without anything else having to tell you who you are? All right, so that is the biggest thing. So when you are on your purpose and you are walking with God, all right, allow him to reshape who you've been telling yourself you are this time. Allow him to build your identity up in him, right? Something sturdy. Allow him to give you a sturdy foundation, a sturdy a home made out of bricks instead of a home made out of straw. Right? So then when the wind come, can't nothing shake that thing. That thing ain't going nowhere. You feel me? So I hope this helped. I feel like I was kind of all over the place, but it all goes into the same thing. You being secure within yourself, and you building yourself up first in Christ and in who he has told you that you are. All right? Not who the world is telling you that you are, whether it's good or bad. Okay? So I hope this helped you. I'm Wisdom. This is Wisdom Talks. I'll see you in the next talk.